Hi, welcome back to the TTR 125. All right, everybody wanted to know what I did and how I did it. So there's going to be a little bit explaining in this video. Please be patient. So this video is about to explain what I did and why I did everything I did. And so I went riding. As you know, I had this motor was on there in the beginning. It was too torquey. I didn't like it because I drove it on the streets here. Well, too torquey was too torquey, so I pulled it off. I put the other motor on that I have on my mini bike. It worked really good when I'm driving on the road and around here on the streets, and I can go really good fast speeds with it. But I took it off-road to test drive this thing off-road with that other motor on it, and I'm gonna tell you, non-gear reduction motor off-road, not good. The motor got hot, the controller unit overworked itself, everything. It didn't work in deep sand on loop-de-loos. So I went back, pondered in my head, should I put it back on? So I put it back on. And I tell you what, it is remarkably amazing. I'm so glad I put the QS 138 90H V3 gear-driven motor back on this TTR 125. It only does about 45 miles an hour, 50 tops, just like the factory motor does when you buy the factory motor. But you know what? It's quiet. You don't hear it coming. It's a stealth mode. You can ride around with your neighbors and neighbors don't get pissed off. All kinds of good stuff with it. But I'm going to show you basically what I've done, how I did it, and just go over some stuff. So that way you know what's going on here. So first of all, I'm going to pull off my side plate, revealing my air box, which would have been my air box if you have an air box. Okay, boom. So this is where I put my stuff to have the airbox work. Basically now, I don't know why my screen's so blurred. Anyways, my screen looks different. It's just not clear like it usually is. Anyways, but my box here, I've got control to be able to hook up my phone if I'm on a trail and I want to charge my phone. But in this box is the wires, and it's wired in. See if y'all can see this. So I've got lights on it, underglow lights underneath everything, underneath the fenders and everything. I've got my key here, I got my reverse switch, and I got my parking brake all underneath here inside my airbox. These are my underglow lights. I got them underneath both sides of here, so it shines lights down in this area at nighttime if I'm night riding. Also put a brake light on it, red brake light, and then here's my underglow light again on here, so I have one on each fender. Installed a brake light switch. That way when I hit the brakes, of course, brake light comes on for people behind me in the trail. Underneath this fender, I've got another light. Let's see, right there. Yep, it's underneath there. And then I put all the wiring for the front of the harness on this one. I put it underneath behind this plate to get rid of that scene. It is, the TTR 125s. You take this back to bolts out and the seat comes off. Then you got two bolts in the front of the gas tank, and the gas tank comes off, and boom, it's completely empty frame. Really quick to take everything apart. When you take all that off, if you see right here, this is what I did. I put a little spacer right here on mine. Top, I didn't do nothing. Just here, just this one here, this one bolt. Left that one there, left this one here, kept this one. So this one here, basically I did this on both sides so it brings the wind in to help cool off this motor and stuff. We're gonna go into the back area here. All right, so I have right now in the making a 35 tooth 428 chain sprocket for this bike, being made right now from custom sprockets. And the reason why is because with this QS 138 gear driven, as you can see, gear driven, I'm going to get into that situation there and why I have it tilted that way and all that good stuff. But anyways, I have a 35 coming because this gear driven is so torquey. It does about 45, but and this is a 49 tooth. If I put a 35 tooth on it, I'm going to get more top end speed. I'll still have to lower end torque because it's so torquey in general that even if I put a 35, I think I'm still going to have the torque that I had. Now, normally this comes with a 13 tooth. I have a 16 tooth on there that I ordered. So I have a 16 tooth, and I believe it was like a Yamaha Blaster sprocket size, the center part on these motors. So it's like a Yamaha setup. So it's pretty easy to get to those front sprockets. The rear sprockets, like I said, I couldn't find anything lower than the 49, so I had to get one ordered. So it's being made right now. That's a 49. I took the 54 off of here and I put it on my little mini bike, which you've seen a minute ago on the other video if you're watching. So yeah, and just so y'all can see, I don't know if y'all can see this in there. I'm gonna see if y'all can see this. See if it'll focus. 72 volt, 4000 watt. This is the gear driven motor, QS. 138, 98, 90 VH, 90 HV3, yeah, there you go. Yes, I made up my own name for this bike because I made the TTR 125. I call it my Electric Lightning, TTR Electric Lightning. And it is electric and it is lightning when you're riding it. So basically, yeah, so get back to everything. So I got that all set up. I built my box. I built this metal box right here. Same box as like I built on every one. Door opens on the side. But the difference is when you pull that motor out of here, you're left with an empty spot. Nothing from the front, nothing from the back. So this is what I did. I cut this here. I welded it straight up and down with the bolt still. And I'm going to tell you why the bolts are there. So there you go. So that's where there is. I don't know if y'all can see that, but hopefully you can. But anyways, bolts there. So this entire battery box from here, and I've got a metal plate here you can see. It goes across the whole bottom for hitting anything. And then right here, you're probably not going to be able to see it, but up in there, there's a bolt. And there's a bolt on both sides. So what that makes is the engine mount is sitting and bolted to this frame. So basically when I unbolt those bolts in the front and bolt these in the back, this entire piece right here will just, it'll fall out like the motor did. Controller unit, motor, battery set box, everything will just bloop, 4 bolts. So that way I can take and bolt back in the motor if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna ever do it. But I did it that way, so it's easy maintenance, easy working on things. If I want to switch stuff out, I just bloop, drop it out and put it back in. But yeah, so that's how that was built and made. Yeah, cut that because it's getting on my nerves, it keeps popping off. Anyways, yeah, so that's how that was done. Now, on the vent situation, I told you I was going to talk about that and discuss that. So my gear, a lot of people say, you don't want to turn these things to the side, blah, 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 stuff like that. So, yeah, you're not going to be able to see it from this side, but I'm going to show you from the other side. Maybe you can see it from the other side. Yeah, you can see it from the other side. Okay, so the brass one is your vent. The one right there is your drain, is your fill tube. So people say, oh, well, you don't want to turn it down. You don't want to tilt it this way because the vent needs to be up. It's going to, you know, pour out fuel, fluid all everywhere. Man, I ride wheelies and do all kinds of stuff. Jump from this, I ain't had no oil come out of that hole. And this thing right here is filled up 1/4 inch to the rim where I can stick a zip tie in there. And within an inch going in, I'm touching oil. So it's tilted. That vent's there. I do plan on taking this vent and taking it to the hardware store, pulling it out, checking the threads, getting a barb fitting it on, then taking that rubber nylon hose from the barb fitting coming off of that vent and running it up to the top of the handlebars and then putting this vent back on the nylon tube up there at the top of up there. That way I can go in water and don't have to worry about water getting into my oil. That I still think that can happen through that vent. That still possibly can happen. So be aware of that. And oil can possibly still pour out of it. I'm not 100% sure it can or can't, but I know I have my oil higher than that hole right now, and no oil is poured out of it. I am using Lucas gear oil for that. Those 2 gears that are inside there. Super quiet. I used some kind of oil-based stuff before, and it was real loud. You could hear it. Put Lucas in it, and this new motor, and you don't hear it at all. But that's the setup. On my top of my battery box, I welded 2 bolts on there to hold this on. That way the plate's off the battery box, so it's not actually touching the battery box. It's got wind that blows through here across here, it hits the back side of this aluminum plate and drops down, blows onto the motor. The wind blows around this corner, hits that motor. I do plan on putting, that's why I don't have a sticker right here, I do plan on putting a wind direction piece here to direct more wind into the motor, but I haven't needed it so far. I do recommend when you do build these, your plate mount, make sure you use thick enough metal. I used a plate, square plate, bolted it to the frame and then bolted it up underneath. I do recommend you using big thick plates for that, because when you jump stuff, after jumping it a few times, this thing will move and eventually break if you use thin metal. But I've got thick metal on it now, so it doesn't do that. Yeah, so it's kind of the gist of it. This gas tank is empty. It does not have a petcock on it on the bottom of it, so it stays empty and dry. I'm not ever going to use it, but it would be funny though if I cap the petcock off, or put a drain plug, put a petcock back on it anyways with a hose coming off of it, filled this up with some gas and rode around, and when I found someone that was, you know, like for some, just keep gas in it and be like, someone's out of gas and here comes the electric dirt bike with gasoline in it to save their ass. That would be funny. Because gas tank's still usable. But I don't have nothing in it. Like I said, I got the petcock off and I've got the top with the vent, so it just stays dry all the time. But it's mainly so I can have my fairing flares on there, and so I can have my seat attached, because everything attaches to the gas tank on these things. If you got rid of the minus the gas tank, you would minus everything basically. But this is the video that some of y'all was asking, wanted to know what I did. So wiring loom on this is underneath the gas tank and underneath the seat, because those are very easy to take off. Everything's zip tied in there underneath that, in the middle of the gas tank frame, wired up. I think I covered it. Oh, and they have these slide on spoke covers, and I was skeptical about them because I figured they would fly off when you're hauling butt or something, but they're split plastics pieces that you slide on, and I put them on my spokes. I really like them. They have not came off yet. I've been going 70 miles, 73 miles an hour. I think I went on this bike with that, the motor. And it didn't fly off. So really well. They work really well. I like it. Yeah. So that's it, man. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Share with your friends. I need 1,000 subscribers, y'all. That'll help me out to where I can keep building these builds. I can keep sending more of these videos for y'all. It don't cost you anything to subscribe and like and share. It just takes your few seconds to push those buttons. And everyone else gets to see what y'all get to see. But again, thank you for watching. More videos to come. And if you have any questions or any comments, or you want to know anything, I am looking at these comments. So I will answer any questions if I can answer questions. I don't check them daily, but I do check them once a week. So be patient, and if you ask a question on what unit I'm using, what far driver I'm using, for those of you to do while we're on this video, you can pause this if you wanted to. This is the one I'm using on this particular one, and this is a 72530 green. I call it the green machine because the green ones are pretty good. I like the green ones. I like the black ones too. I mean, I kind of don't have any hates on either one of them. They were both really good. But yeah, there's a TTR video, so y'all can see how that was put together and how it was worked. I will eventually be getting the rear new tire, so I don't have a drum brake on this, so I'll have a disc brake on it. Same thing I'm doing to the mini bike. I'm putting the disc brake on the rear of it instead of having the drum brake, because I'm going to the mountains, and mountains don't like drums. Drum brakes don't like mountains. If you rode in the mountains with drum brakes, you know what I mean. They go out, so I'm putting disc brakes on it. That way I don't go out and over a hill. But anyways, more videos in the future. Hope y'all like this one. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great day.